Good evening, everybody. This is another edition of the IWC Radio podcast live here on YouTube. I'm Smoot along with Chucks and Will. How you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, same here.
A little cold, but no, not too bad.
Oh, you're in the... It's like hot and icky over here. Me and Will were discussing...
Late September?
Yeah, I know, right? Me and Will were... discussing it before you got on here. Let me pull it up. It is currently, I think, 91, which is like 36 Celsius, I believe. Let me see.
Something like that,
I have to see. 32.
32.7.
Yeah.
Basically 33. That's too many.
Yeah. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 97, and that was the 36 degrees Celsius. And then Monday it drops to 64 Fahrenheit, which is, I think, was it 17.7 in Celsius?
Wow.
Crazy.
It's going the other way here, isn't it, Chuck? It's getting very chilly.
It's getting very chilly here. We're actually talking about the weather. Right now, it's 9. 9, what was the high today? Let's have a look. I don't think it was much more than that. I think it was about 11. Yeah. Not a very warm day down this way.
I've got a positively chilly 7 at the moment. Yeah.
Winter is coming.
It is.
13 days till Christmas now, you know.
Oh, no, stop.
Well, I always say once you get into October, you know, you kind of you're in that home straight for Christmas, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
I think summer's over with, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think autumn's trying to get here, but I think it might just be like a quick autumn, and then it's like bam, right into winter. Although I would love a warm
what's
winter.
Going on at my local Home Bargains, I don't know about yours, Will, but there's one aisle full of Halloween stuff and about 5 full of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
I was in the one a few weeks ago, and they'd done the other way around. They hadn't done the Halloween stuff yet, but there was a few Christmas things out. I'm guessing if I went in now, there probably will be more Halloween stuff.
I don't know. It looks like they're just skipping over it. There's really not a lot of Halloween stuff going.
I went to where did I go the other week? Costco.
I need to see this Costco. Everyone's
have you not
going
been
on
to
about
Costco?
Still not been to Costco, no.
You've not lived since you've been to Costco.
I've been in
It's another
one.
world, Costco.
I've been in one.
To be fair, I hadn't been myself till about maybe 2-3 years ago. I'm quite late to the Costco party.
But now you can't get you out of there.
Well, yeah. You know, I'm not sure whether you get in actually. you've got to be
an elite club there.
It actually
Yeah, you got to be a member.
And they don't give it to just anyone. You've got to either you own a business or like a, I don't know what the official term is, but like police or fire or teacher or someone who's in a.
Yeah.
I don't think we have all that
save lives every day.
You just got to be like an American or something, and then there you go. But you can bring like 1 or 2 guests.
Yeah, I'm allowed a guest on mine.
Yeah.
Mine's actually due soon. I think I got an email the other day. It's due at the end of October.
Oof.
£34 it is. You get a year out of it, and you get another card as well to give to somebody else.
Well, this won't be the first time you've bought something and let me use your account. So
Very true.
Send it up in the post.
Not that we condone account sharing or anything like that.
No, not for the WWE network, obviously.
No.
That's only $9.99 anyway. Why would I need to pirate that?
And doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. Well,
it does here.
Wait. I think we've still got it.
We've still got it for now till January.
Yeah. which is
Yeah.
when Raw is moving to Netflix. Now, speaking of Netflix,
Good segue. I like it.
You want to get into it? There we are.
I feel like we did get into it like 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
There's not a lot on this documentary. I've now seen all 6, and I'm not sure I learned anything.
I only saw episode 6 because that was supposedly like the juiciest
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in 2021, it's kind of jarring to hear like so many high-profile figures like praise Vince. But like, it's before the Janelle Grant case broke out, you know?
Yeah.
It was still the thing to do. He was running the company, and they were still kind of either a part of the company or at least affiliated with the company, or expecting to go back at some point. So you say that the guy's a genius and he made this company what it is, and it won't function without him, and all the things that you got to say.
Poppycock, but
yeah, well, it turned out that way.
Yeah. I think Tony Atlas is the only one that comes out of this looking okay.
That guy's awesome. I want to see the full interview of Tony Atlas.
Yeah.
Why was he dressed as Fred Flintstone?
Yeah, it's a great question. He's got to show the guns off, but at the same time, yabba dabba do.
Can't contain those arms.
Yeah.
But, yeah, yeah, that was interesting. What was the other bit? As I've only seen the first 4, I've still got 2 left. You wouldn't know, Smooth, but like there was nothing you didn't already know really in the first few.
There's a little bit about his like early life, his childhood and stuff, but
yeah, I suppose
only like minimal. And that would have been fun. You could have done an episode on, the early years of Vince. That would have been good. But they didn't go into that at all. They just went into WrestleMania stuff that everyone has seen 1,000 times now.
It reminded me, I don't know if you ever saw it, the WWE documentary they did years ago, the DVD, when they used to make DVDs.
Which one?
There was one called McMahon.
Oh, sorry.
And it was pretty much the first 2 episodes of this documentary.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It explained about his, him buying it off his dad and making WrestleMania, and how it was a big gamble because they didn't know whether it was going to be a success, and the company would have gone down if it didn't.
They didn't mention that in this one so much, that it was really hinging on. They didn't tell that story at all.
No, they didn't. They mentioned it briefly, but they didn't go into it really. Yeah.
They made it sound like it was just always going to be a big hit. Like they went on holiday once. Vince had the idea, which isn't true. He had the idea to do a WrestleMania, and then it just worked, and then it was a thing, and it's huge.
Well, in the WWE one that I've seen, that they talk about how he came up with the name because he didn't know what to call it.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
it wasn't him. That was
apparently it was Howard Finkel.
Oh, Howard Finkel, that's right. Yeah. Because he stole it from Beatlemania.
Beatlemania, yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That was the big thing back then. He said, "Why don't we call it WrestleMania?"
Beatlemania, Hulkamania. So
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
What you gonna do, brother?
What you gonna do?
Yeah. But I haven't seen the last one yet, so I don't know. I'm told it doesn't go too much into it because it was all done before it all came out, didn't it? So.
Yeah.
A lot of it was done before, so they were doing a lot of these interviews with everyone back in like 2021, 2022, which is when it all came out eventually. So most of the clips are from before anyone really knew the worst of it.
Right.
And Vince cancelled his last ones. So the first accusations, the ones that were kind of like, well, yeah, obviously we know. Of course he's covered up an affair. Yeah, we all kind of suspected that was going on. That was enough to spook him off from doing any more interviews. And everyone else just said exactly what you'd expect them to.
I
don't know that anyone came out of it looking bad.
Steve Austin did.
I think Steve Austin, you think? I would have said Undertaker was probably the closest to being like a bit too. Even then, it's not like he would have known the full facts, I guess, when he did that clip. But he was the one that he basically said that the company couldn't function without Vince. He seemed like a little bit too on board with the Vince regime.
Even in 2021, he even said that he would take a bullet for him.
He would take a bullet for him, yeah.
Exactly. All right, calm down. Hold on.
What's the story with Austin? I've not seen this. What did he say?
He says that in his mind, CTE isn't real. If you have CTE, you're not doing something right.
That was a strange one.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a weird take. Everyone else seemed to be kind of understanding about the whole thing, but yeah, he said CTE was basically made up.
Yeah.
That was strange.
Yeah, this is great. Austin taking the current lead on who, apart from Vince, will say the dumbest thing on this. When he says, "I'm not a CTE guy, I just don't believe in it," and then immediately scratches his ear like a shady suspect in that LA Noire game.
That's true.
And big shout out to Trevor here, because he was tweeting about it and it caught my eye, and I was just like, all right, I'll keep my ears open to this because this seems interesting.
He also, just after that, he says that he got one concussion once when he was dropped on his head, and they show the clip of Owen Hart pile driving him and breaking his neck. Like, then you know how serious it is. You can't land on your head.
Yeah.
Why are you covering this up like it's not a thing? I just don't believe in it, yeah.
The bit I sort of find interesting, the last episode I think I've seen, the fourth one. Maybe in the third one, I'm not sure. But anyway, he said when Shane left WWE, and I think it was about 2010, they said that he's had an idea. They never said what it was, but he wanted to do something creatively.
Yeah.
And Vince said, "No, you're not doing that." And then they had a bit of an argument, and he basically turned around. He was eating something at the time, and he gave him the knife he was eating with. He gave Shane the knife and said, "If you want to do it, you have to stab me."
Yeah,
basically.
This is the Heyman story. It
was, Heyman was telling us. Yeah, that was a bit. Shows you what kind of a lunatic he is, really, doesn't it?
Well, kinda. I'm pretty sure he didn't expect Shane to actually stab him for control of the company.
But then didn't he? He went on.
Really, how these things work.
Then he made him. The way the way Heyman was telling it, he was said that if you don't do it, you're a coward, basically.
Well, yeah. So Heyman, I think the point was that Vince bought out his dad. He saw that his dad wasn't doing things the way he wanted him to, so he took control. And he was telling Shane, well, if you want to do things your way, you're going to have to take me out the way that I did to my dad. But earlier on episode 1, they explained how Vince bought the company. And apparently he had, was it 6 months or something to make a profit and pay off whatever he owed. And he could use profits from promoting to pay off his dad for the company that was making the money. Like, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
You can run the company and then just give all of the profits for however many months to your dad, and then it's yours. He wasn't offering that to Shane.
No.
He wanted Shane to buy him outright for however many billions that would have been. It's kind of unrealistic. But I guess that's the point. He wanted Shane to show that it was a big deal to him or whatever, and that he really wanted it.
Yeah.
It's unrealistic.
Oh yeah, it was definitely no way he was actually going to do it, was it?
But yeah, you're not going to send him up to fail. So either you stab me right now, or I'm going to lose faith in you.
There was the story come out afterwards. I was reading it today that Bill Simmons, the guy who was basically behind the whole thing. He said there was about 4 hours worth of interview footage with Vince that they couldn't use because you couldn't understand what he was saying. Which I thought that's what he said in that.
Probably
Apparently
nothing very interesting.
He was always late for the recording sessions. He just turned up whenever he wanted.
I can believe that.
Yeah, same.
Here we go. I'm reading the report here. Bill Simmons. How did he put it? It was certainly the strangest documentary process I've ever been involved in. I'll say it wasn't him. It was the other guy. The other guy that made David Shoemaker.
Shoemaker. I was wondering who that guy is.
I don't think Vince. It sounds so weird to say. I'm not sure Vince knew what it meant to be doing the documentary. I'm not sure that he knew what story he wanted to tell. I don't think he even knows who he is enough to tell that story. Even when he was eager, he wasn't there on time. Or on the days that he was supposed to be there, he always had people with him. There was always people kind of lingering around in the background, making sure nothing weird happened.
Which in itself is weird.
Yeah.
The documentary starts very early in the first episode with the guys asking quite a few of the different people for the differences between Vince McMahon and Mr. McMahon. How much is the character like Vince? And they all say, well, it's basically him. Except for Vince, who says they're completely different. Completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made me laugh.
The end of episode 6, like the last word on the last episode, is Vince saying, a lot of the guys, they get lost in their characters and they kind of forget where they end and where the character begins, and they live out this, I think maybe I don't know which one I am anymore, Mr. McMahon or Vince McMahon, which one's real and which one's the character. And I lose. So he doesn't know which story he's telling.
Yeah.
So that line, he doesn't know who he is, I think that's probably true. Or at least he doesn't know which story he wants to tell that day.
Yeah, exactly. It goes on, the story. Apparently the director, Chris Smith, was the same guy who did the Tiger King series. He said, Chris Smith, the entire production team have all worked on Tiger King. They've been working in this world forever. This is the guy at the Tiger King. None of them have ever experienced a working situation like we encountered in Stamford. He would show up to shooting and just all day long be getting updates from Vince's secretary about his ETA. 6 hours, 8 hours before the shoot, he'd push it back an hour, then push it back another hour. Then he would roll in at 11 PM in pitch black with his little crew around him and shake everyone's hand. It was such a bizarre situation.
Yeah.
It's... I don't know. He's definitely a weird character, isn't he? I think we all knew that anyway, but...
We did. And I think this shows that we're never going to get the kind of tell-all, honest documentary that we've all wanted. The actual Vince McMahon shoot interview that we've been asking for forever.
I think maybe
and even if we did, I don't know that he would know any of the facts anymore.
Well, no. Yeah, true. I think maybe when he eventually dies, I think there'll be there's a story to tell, definitely, when he's not around.
But who's going to tell it?
That's Shane, probably.
Shane's definitely.
I think Shane would actually say, like, facts about stuff.
If he's employed by AEW at that point, then yeah. Absolutely.
Vince, early on, I think maybe it was an episode 1 thing, he implies pretty heavily that there was like serious abuse stuff going on in his childhood.
Yeah, he does.
He says something about incest in his family.
Oh yeah.
But he didn't say who or what. They never went into details about that. Which is like, you can't just say that and leave. Everyone's going to wonder what that's about. Especially then when he pitched the thing, they actually talked about pitching the storyline with him knocking up Stephanie.
Yeah.
Which Steph shot down immediately, obviously. But who's going to tell that story? I don't think Shane's going to want to tell that story. And I don't know who else would know it.
All right, Stephanie then.
Steph might.
I think. I mean, obviously, no one knows for sure. I think Stephanie knows a lot more than what the whole situation about the allegations and everything.
Well, with her coming and going out of the company, like directly opposite Vince coming and going, yeah, I think you're right.
I think she when she left the first time, she basically said, "I don't want nothing to do with it anymore."
That's what it looks like to me. Yeah.
So she obviously found something out that day, and that was it. She never. I know she's been back since, obviously, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't surprise me if she's never spoke to him since.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
But then you go, I don't know what I'm getting mixed up with the timeline because there was that weird when he announced his retirement. Was that before the allegations? It was, wasn't it?
Which time? Because he did that the first time and then came back. To sell the company.
Yeah, before that, because she came out on SmackDown, didn't she, and did the whole "Thank you, Vince" thing.
Yeah, that was weird. So there was, if I remember right, there was a smaller allegation of some impropriety and the first payoff.
Yeah,
and that's when he stepped back. He didn't retire, but he stepped back from whatever his duties were. And morale went up immediately, and Triple H took over, and everyone loved it. It was great. And then
he come back, didn't he?
He forced his way back in, didn't he? Did he leave more after that? Was he he was out of the company for a while?
Because there was that he sent a tweet, didn't he? No one was expecting it, and then there was a tweet that, well, I don't think he did it, but that just said, after so many years, it's now time to retire. And then I think it was that night. There it is, July 22nd, 22.
Yeah, I think that
77
was
time for me to retire. Thank you to the universe. Then, now, forever together.
Yeah.
I think it was that night that Stephanie came out and before SmackDown and did the whole "Thank you, Vince" thing, which was very awkward.
Yeah.
And then I think wasn't long after that it all blew up, I think.
June 2022, that's when Vince McMahon steps back as CEO chairman on an interim basis.
Steps back. Oh, so the Wall Street Journal, so it was 2 days after that first story came out. That's what I was thinking. He steps back, Steph returns to the company and becomes interim CEO, yeah. And that's when they say Vince was going to be on SmackDown, and he comes out and says nothing.
Welcome to SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
That's right. That was when he didn't just say the slogan. He didn't say "Then, now, forever together."
Then, now, forever together. He added the together.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Yeah.
After he comes back through the curtain, he shouts, "Fuck him!" According to the Fightful.
I can believe that. So then, was there something else? Oh, so that was it then. WWE
that was the last time he was on TV, wasn't it? Pretty sure that was the last time he was on TV.
Yeah.
Well, that right there, June 27, 2022?
Yeah.
Or did he do it again on Raw? That's right, he did Cena on Raw, didn't he, the week after?
Yeah.
No, he did the same thing, and yeah, that was the last time he was on TV. Yeah, I think one day it will all. I think.
That's weird. That's weird. July 18th, Titus O'Neil opens Raw, talking about his role as brand ambassador. It says WWE provides a safe haven regardless of race, nationality, or economic status.
Yeah.
Why? Why'd you say that?
That is weird.
No one else has to open a show saying that. July 22nd, Vince announces his retirement. But that was after the TKO thing, wasn't it?
Not yet. I don't think the TKO.
Not? Oh.
Yeah.
So that's right. So that's when he retires after that big story comes out.
Well, he was at the the Wall Street thing, wasn't he, for the big TKO reveal? He's on the thingy with Triple H and Dana White and everyone.
Well, he forced his way back into the company, didn't he, as chairman, and changed the boardroom around a little bit to then sell the company. And then it wasn't long after the company was sold and TKO was made that the bigger story came out and he had to go.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Mr. McMahon has told people that he tends to make a comeback at WWE, according to the people familiar with his comments. He said he received bad advice from people close to him.
Because there was that Raw after Mania, wasn't it? It was terrible.
Yeah.
That he said, "Do we come back to creative?" And it was awful.
Yeah.
After Roman beat Cody first time.
So 2023 is when he got back onto the board.
Right, before that, the board, he had told the board that he intends to come back. The board told him, "We've had a vote and no one here wants you back." So he then forced his way in early January. He fired a couple of people and got
that's right, yeah.
George Barrios, Michelle Wilson back in so that they would vote for him. He came back in, but said he wouldn't be taking over creative until that WrestleMania came up, and he changed the finish and Cody lost and whatever. And then you say that Raw was terrible and morale went down again.
Stephanie tells employees, "This is an exciting time. It shouldn't be a scary time."
I found her was back on board, and then 4 days later she permanently resigned.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm needed here anymore.
Surprised she's not come back to. I know she's been seen a few times, but I'm surprised she's not come back in a role yet. Thought she would have done by now.
Maybe she doesn't believe it yet. She thinks he's going to come back.
Yeah, March 2023 here is when the Endeavor deal happens.
It was only March last year. Okay.
New employment contract is filed with the SEC for Vince McMahon, making him an employee again. Man, oh man. And then, this is the mustache interview, I believe, right? Yeah, April 2023.
Yeah, because that was the big TKO announcement, wasn't it? With the that's right, yeah.
And then there you go, Will, talking about the Raw after WrestleMania. Produces the show throughout the night as he did before resignation, reportedly negatively affects talent morale.
Yeah.
Federal law enforcement agents in July execute a search warrant and serve a federal grand jury subpoena on Vince McMahon. And spinal surgery on July 21st. The merger closes on September of last year. So I guess we're a little bit over a year since the TKO stuff.
That's right. I did actually see, I think, the TKO Twitter account tweeted something out a few weeks ago saying it was
to us.
A year.
Yeah. Vince McMahon's return wasn't aligned with my way of seeing what governance is. There's a misalignment of what my values are. Okay. New TV deals.
Did he still own stock? I know he sold a lot of stock.
We're getting to that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He sold a hell of a lot, didn't he? Yeah. He still holds 20 million shares, about 12%.
Yeah.
But that was a year ago. Might have sold more since then.
And we get into January of this year with the Janelle Grant stuff. Ari Emanuel and Mark Shapiro urged Vince McMahon to resign, according to a later report from the Hollywood Reporter. That McMahon resigns, according to an all-staff email sent about 8:30 p.m. from President Nick Khan, who wrote, I want to inform you that Vince has tendered his resignation from his positions as TKO Executive Chairman and on the TKO Board of Directors, no longer having a role. TKO Group Holdings or WWE. And that was another thing that they kind of touched upon in the documentary. Is like he just kind of like resigned and didn't like put up a fight. You know, usually when accusations are are towards his direction, he kind of puts up a fight. Like just the other day, I remember the Stan Kroenke segment.
I really want to see that one again.
Yeah.
Stan Kroenke. Yeah. You know what the E stands for, don't you?
He would basically, lampoon or make fun of the person that, was trying to accuse him of whatever. Here, he just kind of folded, It's a mission of guilt in some way.
Kinda, I'm guessing his lawyers have said don't say anything. That's probably good advice. He has said that it's, his official statement is that it's all lies, and he will be fighting it. But really, what can you do? I think he has to know that it's true, and he's not going to convince anyone it's not true. So the best thing to do is just hide out for a bit, get out of there.
Surely the fact that he paid it off. Surely that tells you what you're missing.
That says something.
And as CM Punk said in that Ariel Helwani interview, like he was surprised that Vince left such a paper trail.
Yeah.
To get caught, like
surprised he was so stupid. Yeah.
Those text messages were so vile.
Yeah.
And all the spelling shorthand there, like good lord.
That whole thing. They showed a few of them on this documentary, not the worst of it, but some of them, and it looked like a 13-year-old was texting.
Yeah,
that's Vince.
Which, in some way, kind of was. Yeah, really, really weird. He is a strange man.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, if you're a casual person that's not into the whole wrestling scene, this could have been like an eye-opening experience for you. For the average wrestling fan, this is just stuff that we've already known.
Yeah.
We even got Phil Mushnick there.
Phil Mushnick is the biggest hater since Drew McIntyre, I think.
Oh yeah.
Everything he said was super negative about Vince. He just hated him the whole way through.
The Vince interview where he slaps Armin Contain's papers when they bring up deaths in the business.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't much Cody in episode 6 for what it was. Yeah, there was when they went PG, they talked about all these brands that wanted to be a part of the company, and I'm so glad Trevor got this. One of the greatest screen caps.
Sniffing the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
didn't show Enzo Amore in his chicken segment. That was very strange.
They get to Shane and wanting to basically just be loved by his father.
Yeah.
Got that right.
One thing I didn't know anything about, I don't know what you guys thought, was the way back in the day, the whole Ring Boys thing. Didn't know much about that story.
That one's kind of been lost, over the years. That's true.
Didn't know anything about that, really. I hadn't even heard anything about that at all, to be honest.
Oh, Pat Patterson fondling Tony Atlas's pecker.
His pecker?
Yeah.
I think the best thing about that story is Jim Cornette's review of that episode.
Really?
He gets to that part, and his co-host says something about Tony Atlas's pecker and whatever. And Jim Cornette goes, "Oh, that's just a thing that happens. That's totally normal. If we spent any time in a locker room, people are grabbing peckers and checking oil and all sorts." And this co-host, Brian Lassie, goes, "No, that's not normal. That's not normal at all. I don't want that. Don't do that. It's not normal." Cornette's, no, it happens all the time. You see someone's pecker, you just grab it. Yeah.
Bruce Pritchard came off like such a goof because they.
Oh, he's another one. Yeah, he's a Vince guy.
Yeah, because he was like, he saw an advanced copy of the docuseries, and he was like, "I thought it sucked. You should paint Vince in a more human light, like how he got like the best doctors for Bruce's wife at the time because she was battling cancer, and they gave her like 4 years to live, and 24 years later they're still married presumably, and she's still with us, so that's great. But
I'm sure he was nice at times.
Yeah, he can be charitable, but also a really awful guy at the same time. It's not.
Even Hitler was nice at times, I imagine.
Yeah. And then 2 days later, after that interview, that's when the Janelle Grant stuff dropped. God, yeah, that was something. Twitter's been acting funky here. But here's the I didn't like Pat because he kept grabbing my pecker in the locker room. He what? He would grab my pecker. Did you guys complain? To who? He's the booker. I mean, he's got a point.
It's true.
Why is he dressed as Flintstone?
Yeah. I don't know. Yabba dabba do. But yeah, it was just kind of bizarre just to hear so many people say that Vince was like a father figure to them. And you parlay that with Vince or Undertaker saying that he would take a bullet for Vince and all that. It was just.
I suppose with the guys like Taker and the people who've been around them for years, he probably was a bit like that to him. But
yeah,
we spent a hell of a lot of time with the guy, and maybe some of these guys have weird relationships with their own dads and stuff. Then I can see how that would come about. But then they also said that right after doing the whole thing about Shane seeking his dad's approval and how much hell he's been through trying to be worthy and being told that he's not over and over, and leaving the company and coming back and throwing himself off scaffolds and stuff to try and earn his dad's love and a hug. And he eventually got a hug.
Yeah.
Similar. He wasn't in the documentary, but it was a similar. We didn't mention it. We were in here last week. Have you seen the comments? What Mick Foley said about Vince?
Oh, horrible!
I heard that he said something
awful.
A bit weird, but I don't know what it was.
He's basically come out and said he's not really gonna judge him until he knows the full story.
I mean, that's
he's always been good to him, and he's not. But it's, I can't remember the actual quotes, but I get it up now. But yeah, there's a lot of people saying that's not really what you should be saying.
Yeah, especially considering he was a big contributor to Reign.
Exactly. Yeah.
He is. Yeah, big time.
And to say something so tone deaf like that is incredible. Rikishi was another one that was kind of like praising Vince after the Janelle stuff happened and all that. So
there we go.
I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd say that there's a difference. There's praising him and saying that you take a bullet for him or whatever. Saying I'm not going to judge him until I get all the facts. That's at that point I don't really know why you say anything at all. But,
did you not see the text messages that he supposedly wrote?
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to say anything, you'd say this looks bad, but I'm going to hold my I don't necessarily mind Foley saying I'll wait until I know more, but I don't know what Rikishi said. I'm sure there's
There's the Foley quote. So I generally liked him. I mean, my relationship was never the same with him after I left WWE. When I went to TNA. To this day, I'm still trying to find an address to write to him just to thank him for taking a chance on me. I think all of us are in a combination of good traits and bad traits, and I hope your good traits outweigh your bad traits. Perhaps it seems Vince got it backwards there for a little while. I've been there when he's done good things. I've seen him do good things. When I was writing books, I wanted to essentially do something like Chicken Soup for the wrestling fan soul about some of these heartwarming moments. He was like, I'm a little concerned that some of these would come across as self-serving. He was someone who did the right thing for the right reasons a lot of the time. I feel really bad that someone I care about has got into something that seems pretty unsavory. I'm going to hold off judgment right now until I see the docuseries. But I think one thing that's fortunate, whatever he did or didn't do, I don't think many of us are allowing that to mess with our memories. He was instrumental in creating some of these memories, so I think I'm going to choose to appreciate him until I learn more about what may have gone down.
It's pretty soft, isn't it?
Yeah, again, Foley saying that when, you know, he's been such a huge contributor to Reign. Yeah, it's just
I remember we used to do a lot of updates on the site for when he'd do appearances for Reign and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was always a big supporter of that. So yeah, it is. When I first heard that comment, I thought, wow, what shocking to see him say something like that. But yeah, like you say, I guess these people who've known him and, like you say, have been nice. He's been nice to them. But like I say, even the worst people in the world can be nice for a bit.
Well, yeah, they didn't spend a lot of time on Benoit, but they did say a kind of similar thing there. They're like, we always knew him to be a great guy, and then he did this thing.
Yeah.
So I guess there's a little bit of a theme there. But there's just not very many nice things that he's done in this thing. There's a lot of people that I guess would take a bullet for him or have, you know, those kind of that loyalty to him. But they didn't make a lot of, I don't know, whatever these heartwarming moments that Mick Foley talks about. There weren't many of them on this series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting if anyone, like, I've just realised I spelled McMahon wrong on the YouTube.
Mac John.
Oh yeah.
Thought I'd get away 1 week without a spelling mistake. Oh man.
All good.
I was gonna say I'll fix that now. Yeah, maybe one day the likes of Stephanie or Shane will tell the full story. Because there's definitely a story there.
Yeah.
Is it a story they'd want anyone to know? What life was like with? You know,
why?
that house?
I mean, I'd like to know why Randy Savage was supposedly away from the company for so long.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Would Steph ever tell that story?
Yeah.
They did talk a lot about. There was a little bit in there, especially around Brett, about Vince working with people that he's had issues with, and Dynamite Dave came on and said that actually falling out with Vince and leaving somehow makes your chances of coming back better than if you left on good terms, because it's like a challenge for him. He wants to, wants to show that he can do it for the sake of the business. They didn't mention Randy Savage just never coming back ever being a completely closed door. Like, yeah, they never mentioned that at all.
Because he did like a promo for his little action figure when supposedly he was on good terms with WWE for that All Stars video game. Before
one game, before
he had that heart attack when he was driving. Hey, there you go. I just saw it up there. There. Perfect. Anything else before we move on?
No, I think that's probably most of it.
It's a good watch. From the one episode, which was the last one that I saw, it's a good watch. But just don't expect anything new. You know, like if you're a casual wrestling fan, if you want to explore some Mr. McMahon lore, there you go. But for the diehard wrestling fan that's been tuned to the business for 5-10 years, you've probably heard stories before, and they kind of touch upon the Benoit tragedies and things like that.
Well, before we came on, I was sort of talking about it, and a guy I know who's not watched wrestling for years, a good 20 years or so at least, he watched it, and his first comment to me was, "Isn't Vince old?"
Yes.
So I think that's the biggest take.
He's old yet still has black eyebrows, so he's totally not dying.
Yes, definitely not.
Well, there's nothing he can do about his purple lips. Something is weird. When he first sits down on that first episode, he looks wrong. That face is completely wrong.
His whole face looks... He's definitely worked on, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Big time. He looks kind of not so bad there.
He's got that... I don't know if you've ever seen... he's the singer. He's about the same age, and he looks terrible.
Could just be the lighting.
Barry Manilow. Have you seen him lately? He looks awful.
True.
I mean, time will do that.
Well, no, but he's had work done again, and he looks terrible. And he's got a bit of a look. He must go to the same surgeon. So yeah, it wasn't the tell-all revealing that we were thinking it was going to be, but it's an interesting watch.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's impressive that they had the people that they did.
Well, it was backed by WWE, wasn't it? That's why it was. They got the footage and everything, wasn't it? So
yeah, all the footage is in there. That was impressive.
B-roll of AEW.
A little bit of AEW at the end. Yeah, that's true. They had everyone that you would want to hear from. I guess they had. Vince himself doing it is kind of amazing, and they had Linda was in there, and Hogan and Austin, and they had Rock. Rock must be pretty difficult to get hold of these days.
That was the weird bit at the start when they were going through everyone there, and he was just sat there eating something.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
This is leading into the thumbs up, thumbs down segment, by the way.
At the very start, they were showing little clips of everyone who was involved, and they showed Triple H and they showed Stephanie, and just the Rock's eating something out of a bowl.
Just eating. The guy's got to eat. He's a big dude.
Yeah, gotta get the calories up.
Get those calories in.
Yeah, this is a creepy photo.
So that's like how he first sits down in the first episode. What's wrong with that mouth?
That's like
stung by a swarm of bees.
That official photo that came out of him a few years ago.
With the creepy pencil mustache.
Yeah.
No,
God.
Before that. When he's at the table signing something. I'm trying to find it now. He looks terrible in that. Here we go. This is it. Sorry, I'm talking about yourselves a minute. It's on a page here, but there you go.
So impressive they had the people that they did. Pointing that it was all stories that we've heard 1,000 times before. The history of the company, it's WrestleMania again, it's the Attitude Era again, it's the rise of WCW again, and the transition out and the CTE stuff is like, this is all stuff that's had its own documentaries and its own, we've talked about forever. And then all of these like big names, you get a little bit of The Rock. He has like a couple of little clips here and there, and he says the kind of things that you expect him to say. Cena is very diplomatic, believe it or not. At one point he's asked a question about Vince, and he says, "I don't think I'm the right guy to answer that question." Great. Why have you got that clip in there then? Undertaker is the company man. He doesn't say anything bad about him. Shawn Michaels still works there, so he says everything fairly positive about the company. He admits to being a prick, back in the Bret Hart days. Fine, we kind of knew that. Bret Hart is
Yeah.
grumpy, to be expected. It's just all a bit like you kind of know what you're gonna get at every scene that comes up. You think, yeah, well, I know how they're gonna tell this story, and I know what each of these people are gonna say. Steph is very guarded and is on PR mode all times.
Did you see that clip they showed from an interview with Stephanie from, I think it was 2013?
Yeah.
They were talking about the Tyson thing, and she didn't know that.
Yeah, that's right.
She didn't know that they were dealing with Tyson after he'd been charged with rape.
Yeah, so she kind of tried to defend that decision.
Yeah.
They used Mike Tyson in '97. They did a clip of her, and they asked her, wasn't this a bit of a, PR nightmare or whatever? And she says, well, this is before all of the stuff came out. Oh wait, it's not. It wasn't. No, this was like after he came out of prison. Yeah. Oh.
Jeez.
She's not a student of the business.
No.
Anyway, should we move on?
No. It was made well. They had great access, but there's nothing that you don't already know. Even at the end.
Okay. In that case, do you want to get into the thumbs up, thumbs down, and talk about Dynamite here?
Yeah. Do we do that first, or?
We can talk about Grand Slam, sure.
Grand Slam.
I've seen the opening 20 minutes or so.
The first match, which was commercial free for the first half hour, which
I didn't see the whole thing because I was kind of watching it live and then I fell asleep.
Oh,
wow!
I didn't see the whole thing because my recording started late.
Oh, speaking of, I've got a thumbs down for recording. We'll get to that in a minute. The first thing I noticed was obviously they were in the smaller setup because where they were.
Arthur Ashe. Yeah.
This huge screen. How big was that?
No, it's a big screen.
Well, here.
It looked way. I don't know if it was just me or where it was. It looked way bigger than normal.
Yeah, because look how short the entranceway is here.
Well, yeah.
At one point, Willow Nightingale ran out to make a save, and she was just there.
Yeah, she almost knocked out the fucking camera guy.
Brushed past the camera guy, and she was just in the ring. Like, it was the quickest save I've ever seen.
I mean, the first thing that sticks out to me. Oh, my drawing thing's not working here.
Oh no.
Well,
That's
anyway.
the show.
Yeah, I know, right? It was working a moment ago. We can do it like this, but if you look here, like there's only one, maybe 1.5 guardrail width here between.
That's not many rows.
No, between the staging.
5 rows.
And the ring.
Isn't this the third time they've done it now? Isn't this the lowest they've done in there?
Something like that.
I remember seeing that.
There we go.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've seen a few tweets saying, it's still about 8,000-9,000 there, which is still a good turnout for a weekly show.
Yeah, but like if you compare it to other Arthur Ashe shows, like this.
Well, yeah.
The fucking Tron isn't like jutting halfway in the middle of the arena. You know, that's why it looks so large.
Yeah, I was watching it live and I was kind of half asleep anyway. But it just shows a huge screen.
Yeah, because it's so close to the ring.
It's just looming over.
Well, yeah.
It's crazy.
I did see there was a tweet from John Alba. John Alba was there. I'm just trying to find it.
Let me see if I can find some other photos here.
Might come back to that in a second. I can't find it right now. Basically, I think he was there he gets in on media, doesn't he? He's like a media guy. And they stuck the media way up top high, and they were like almost behind that screen. So you give the media a good seat, surely. They're gonna report on it.
Nah, get them out of there.
Let me see here. Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
from the nosebleeds here. My goodness.
So I don't know if he was with someone who tweeted an even worse picture. He was sitting next to them. I can't even find the picture now. But it was.
Yeah, there was somebody that
But
was
yeah.
trying to get like a photo of the code for Full Gear, but because their seating and how curved the Tonytron was, they couldn't see it. Yeah, here it is. This is great.
God.
Justin Roberts, we're gonna put up a code for you to get tickets for Full Gear. The code is just barely like a quarter of the QR code.
Wow.
Yeah. So they did announce it later on in the show during the main event what the code was, which I think was just like, I don't know, Full Gear or something or other. I don't know. Full Gear ticks.
This is it. This is the
AEW TV. That's what it was.
AEW TV.
Yeah.
There's the other photo I've seen. It's just pretty bad if you sat there.
And yeah, this is where the attendance really kind of plays a factor here, because like look how back, like look how many. If all this is lit up here on the right, and you see all this empty space on the left, it's like.
Yeah. And it's always going to be a little bit like that. I was expecting there to be a lot more back there actually, but I guess it's a tennis court, isn't it? So it is much smaller than if it was, I don't know, a bigger thing. So yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There's a better shot of it.
I was kind of expecting there to be like a whole second half of the stadium stretching back that they were cutting off with the screen, but that's not so bad. You say 9,000? You say
something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not too bad. It's not great. But
well, I mean, I think the past couple of rows, I think, have been like similar 9,000-10,000. So it's not bad, but
it looks smaller
compared to what they've done there recently.
Mm-hmm.
The last, they've done it every year, haven't they? The last few years.
Let's
so
see.
it opened with Danielson McGuinness.
Yes.
I joined. I think it must have been pretty close to the start of the match. They didn't look too blown up yet. But I don't know if I missed anything before the match.
Danielson tried to go for like an upside down mandible claw here, but instead he just kind of like brushes his chin.
Just kind of holds his chin there.
Yeah. There's one spot at one point where Trevor was like, "Ring post him, Nigel. CT isn't real. Steve Austin just told us." And replying, they did a very safe shoulder version of it because they are cowards who are ignoring stone cold science. So I thought that was very funny. Match ends with Danielson with the label lock on Nigel, who screams out. I didn't get a chance to see the unbleeped version, but apparently he said thank you. But the censors for the American feed bleeped it, so they thought he said fuck you.
He probably did.
Yeah, but JR was like,
I think he did.
JR was like, did he just say thank you? And then Taz was like, I think he did.
Yeah, that covering. I also caught up on Collision, the one from before this one. That's kind of the go home to this Super Show.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm debating giving a thumbs down to Nigel McGuinness going on for what has to have been 20 minutes to hype this match. Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh, wow. They come back from some break, and Tony Schiavone says, I'm going to throw to my broadcast colleague now, and Nigel McGuinness has stood in the aisle on the rampway, just going off at the clam digger and saying that he hates him and he's going to beat him and he hopes he shows up because do it for the fans, do it for your family, and just going on and on and on and on and on. And then Tony Schiavone gets up and says, wait a minute. I know Bryan Danielson. He's not scared of you. If he doesn't make it, it's because he's not cleared. And Nigel McGuinness tells him to go and sit down. Anyone else, I'd knock your head off, but for you, I'm going to give you a chance. Shut your mouth, sit down. And then he goes on for another 20 minutes about how everyone knows that no one knows that I was as good as you back then, but you do, and you've never said anything. And now is my chance to show the world that I'm as good as you. Just on and on and on. It was good, and then it was 5 times as much good as it needed to be. God damn. So that might be my thumbs down now.
Alrighty.
Too much Nigel McGuinness promo.
Here's a thumbs down, possibly from me. I've got mine preloaded, but I'll probably add to this. I mean, we might as well kind of want to fire up the music here a little bit. But after the Danielson McGuinness match here,
yeah,
Christian comes out and teases the Money in the Box cash in until Kip Sabian runs up and Christian's got the pen from the box as he's about to sign it to make it legit. Kip Sabian steals the pen, runs to the back, and then Christian runs into...
He legit yoinks the pen.
Yeah, and he runs into...
scampers away.
Into Pac and Claudio.
So this is the only time, the thumbs down here would be that this is the only time someone has had to sign the contract before cashing in.
Right.
Why not just do the thing?
Thank you! See, you get it. You get it.
I thought the contract said anytime, any place, any champion, whatever.
With the asterisk,
sign it, like
with an asterisk,
sign
with a pen.
and date it.
Notarized.
Yeah, that was silly.
Hook wins or retains the FTW championship that he retires and gives it back to Taz. That was a pretty heartfelt, warming moment here.
Yeah.
That's
cool. There you go. What else here?
Hook's promos, that's not it, Chief.
That's not it.
I like a bit of Hook, but he can't say the things very well. Not yet, anyway.
Tag team championship match between Ospreay and Fletcher against the Bucks. I kind of zoned out on this one a little bit because it's like 3/4 of the people I don't like in a match there. I don't know why it's not working for Twitter here, but if I open it in a new window, I like the Tale of Two Signs here. You have, bully face LaGreca heel. I've seen that one before on New York shows, and then you have this guy up here that's like busted open sucks. So there you go. Yeah, that match was all right. I'm really just anticipating Fletcher backstabbing Ospreay.
Happened, didn't it?
I thought it was going to happen here. It didn't quite happen from what I understand. And then Prince Nana. Yeah, Prince Nana was supposed to give us an update on Swerve, and then MVP interrupts. I just simply said business just picked up initially.
MVP, on the other hand, he can say the things very well.
Yeah, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, MVP.
I don't know who he is. Who is he?
Gives Prince Nana.
I actually tweeted that during the week, and I knew nobody else would get it, but just did it anyway.
Such a deep cut.
Someone tweeted. I can't remember what they said because they deleted it afterwards. Someone said you should know who he is or something.
He's been on TV for 20 years.
Yeah. I was going to reply and kind of explain the joke, but he'd always deleted it before I could reply.
Yeah.
Did they say that they can't use MVP? Didn't they say he's M to the VP or something?
Well, he was MVP last time he left. He went to New Japan. He did a little bit in TNA, and he was MVP there. That's fine. He couldn't be Montel Vontavious Porter, but he could be MVP. So I think that'll be fine. And he did say, I'm M to the VP. But then he also gave his business card, and that just said MVP on it. And whoever it was at the desk, Taz, said, is that MVP? And, so MVP is here, so
Fair enough.
I think it's going to be all right.
Are they gonna Are they bringing in Lashley and?
I hope so.
Maybe.
His last line was, "Let's Swerve. Give this to Swerve, and we can talk business." So,
There you go.
he said business.
About to pick up.
That's
And then main event time, Mox versus Darby Allin. Winner gets a shot at Danielson's title. Excalibur, interestingly to note here, saying that Bleacher Report is a service that they're going to sunset as a pay-per-view distributor, citing Triller, which is gross, payperview.com, or ppv.com rather, and YouTube TV as other options. So
ppv.com. WWE used to own payperview.com.
They did.
Which I think they still do. Yeah, they do. It links back to the network. ppv.com. Well, that's an oversight if they didn't also grab that.
No. See?
And they did not.
Huh. There you go.
Side note, I've got Collision on. I've watched Collision for ages. Just put it on there. Saraya and Jamie Hayter are having some sort of street fight.
Saraya
match.
rules match, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Saraya's just hit Jamie Hayter with a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Thought I'd fill you in on that one.
Shot at Twitter, I guess.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, after the show here. After the show, Tony Khan doing the the CEO
Oh
dance.
god, I've seen a clip of that. Jesus Christ, what you doing?
Here you go. And then I guess that leads into that leads into a thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down, Tony Khan doing that dance. Right away. In fact, that dance in general, she needs to stop doing it as well.
There's a lot of things that she should stop doing. That can wait for another week when it's more relevant. She'll definitely get a thumbs down sooner or later, though.
What do you guys have?
I'll let you go first, Chuck.
Do I want to give a thumbs down to Vince McMahon's face? Is it worth it? Yeah, you know, on my notes I've got Vince's weird face and mouth. So yeah, there you go, Vince McMahon's. Vince McMahon's.
I was going to put it back up here. Hold on.
Purple-lipped face. Yeah, he is not looking well. And this was 2 years ago.
Wrong one.
3 years ago. Oh.
There you go.
It's weird.
It didn't look that bad until you pointed it out. I was like, yeah, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, up on the board it goes here.
Okay, well, I will be positive though. I have my favorite thumbs up for a very long time here. John Moxley came out late in the Dynamite show, and Bryan Danielson ran out with a tie to choke him out.
You're stealing my thumbs up here. Danielson choking out Mox with a necktie.
Damn it, you got that one in there before me. That was so good.
Yeah, for real. Like, it was such a great nod to Justin Roberts as well.
Yeah.
Here, let's see if I can find it here. Hold on. He had a post on Instagram that I thought was pretty good, funny. Yeah, here it is. I feel his pain.
I feel his pain.
So good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Right, so I need a different thumbs up.
Different thumbs up.
Different thumbs up. Oh.
For me, my thumbs down here. I don't know if you heard about this story, but supposedly The Rock wanted to swap the Hot Ones hot wings for grilled salmon, which I think is a bitch move.
He's obsessed with food, that guy.
Yes.
Yeah, when you were talking about him eating like a bowl of something in that documentary, I was like, oh, this is a great segue. I've watched a little bit of Hot Ones here and there. Usually if there's like somebody that's vegan or vegetarian, they'll swap the wings out to be like vegetarian based or plant based of some sort. There's been people that couldn't make it to the last dab. All of that pales in comparison to this. I think this is such a fucking bitch thing to do. To just... They're fucking... It's hot wings, dude. Like, just eat some hot wings, alright? That's it. You don't have to be such a diva.
Did they do that?
No, they didn't. They wanted to. Sean Evans.
For it, but
yeah.
They said no. Okay, good.
Sean Evans, let me see if I can find that quote. He didn't specifically elaborate, I think, here. Well, that's all the current stuff here. Let me go back. Yeah, here we are. Salmon strips. I'm sorry, not grilled salmon, but salmon strips. Yeah, so he said, Sean Evans, the host of the show, said, "We've been pitching The Rock, obviously, for years. And one time I got a note back that was like, would you be willing to do, instead of wings, grilled salmon strips?" And in my head, I was like, that had to come from his mouth. That's as close as we've gotten. And then it fell through. Like, bruh.
No, that's lame.
Yeah.
That guy or that team on Hot Ones, they are...
Oh, top notch.
He's one of the best interviewers I've seen ever. He's phenomenal.
Yes. Like
I've seen clips, but not properly.
He knows like so much stuff about the interviewee, I guess. And
he has he must have a team to do research and stuff on like their early lives and the things that they like doing. Because these guys do interview circuits all the time, especially when they've got a film out or whatever, and they're answering the same questions over and over and over. And this guy does none of them. Yeah. He'll do really personal stuff that's like, it's just great. And it's everyone as well. He's done hundreds of these things now. And he's always got something interesting. You get something good out of these guys. He's brilliant.
Even Steve Austin did the hot wings. You didn't hear him complaining. And he doesn't even believe in CTE.
That should be a thumbs up. Finding out that CTE doesn't exist after all these years of worrying.
Yeah.
CTE doesn't exist despite Chris Benoit.
Doesn't exist.
Did anyone tell Chris Nowinski?
Yeah, his life's work has been in vain.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a thumbs up to the Outrunners.
Yes!
They deserve it.
So good. You know who is going to be interviewed tomorrow on RJ's show? By any chance?
No.
The Beast Mortos.
That's going to be good.
Yeah. They posted a little preview clip.
He's a great interviewer as well, actually.
Yeah, like...
He's,
They did one with Dean Malenko the other week, and it was really like... To see Dean trying to be jovial and despite his condition with Parkinson's and all that, it was very heartwarming.
And his personality.
Yeah.
He was never the most animated guy.
One sec here. Do you have a thumbs up, Will?
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna go back a week actually. We weren't here last week. The promo from SmackDown. Sorry, I'm just reading something there. Sorry. The Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes promo.
Yeah.
From SmackDown. Promo was probably the wrong word. It wasn't really a promo. It was more of a mini movie. But yeah, it was really good. I'll go for that.
Who'd you say it was? I'm sorry.
It was a promo as such, but it was a bit more than that. We'll have to watch it or something if we get a minute later after the show.
The promo between
Cody and Roman.
Okay.
So I heard about this. This was like they finally did something outside the arena. This was at like
Yeah.
Georgia Tech or something, wasn't it? Some university.
Mhm.
Yeah, but the story was that they both got links to Georgia Tech because I think Roman used to play for them.
Right.
And Cody now lives there, so they both got links to being Georgia people. So they met at the stadium, and just the way they did it, the way it was produced, it's like nothing they've ever. It was like something they do for Mania, not something they do for a B pay-per-view.
Apparently, Jeremy Borash was involved, so that explains the drone, the drone shots.
Yeah,
That guy.
it was really good. We'll have to get a minute afterwards. You seen it, Chuck?
No, I've heard about it.
No.
I think I've seen a couple of stills from it, but yeah, no, I need to check that out.
There's a few people saying it was a bit overproduced and stuff, which I suppose it was. It wasn't, but it was very different to anything they'd done before. So I thought it was really good.
I've also just seen the opening to Raw with all the guys showing up. So there's Bron Breakker and Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre arriving at the arena.
Yeah.
Liv Morgan and yeah, exactly right. Liv and Dom get out of their car, out of their lowrider, and then out come. Who is that? Is that Braun Strowman? Tackles someone through the t-shirt stand.
It's Bronson Reed.
Big Bronson Reed, yeah.
Of course.
Do you know what? They've been doing a really good feud over the last few months, few weeks. And it's nothing unusual. That it's just two big guys
slapping meat,
throwing each other about and throwing them through walls and throwing them into cars and stuff. If Vince was still around, he'd be loving it.
He probably would, but he'd never do it. And especially with this, I just like the way that it looked. They've done something different with everyone arriving at the arena, and then to have these two things crossing over.
Yeah,
these guys are walking into the arena, and this thing happens to happen.
They've been doing a few little things.
They do a lot of things
the other week.
Mixing it up.
There was one the other week where Gunther had just been attacked by Sami Zayn in the ring.
Right.
And then it went backstage to, I think you seen Punk making his way to the ring. And then as he's walking to the ring, you just see Gunther throw something behind him. And he's obviously really pissed off. And Punk just stops and sort of, turns his head around. What was that? And you just see Gunther carrying on walking off in a pissed off mood. And there's a few things where they've, things have crossed over. It's quite clever. It's simple but clever.
Yeah. That new guy that isn't Kevin Dunn is really good.
Yeah, he's. And so speaking of, I won't mention it on the thumbs up, but there was last week as well. There was a really good promo from Punk. Probably the best promo he's done since he come back. Really, it was more serious and talking about this Hell in a Cell match he's gonna have with Drew and Bad Blood. And it was a lot more serious than he's been since he come back. He basically said Drew's gonna have to kill him to win. So yeah, really good, I thought.
Okay. Anything else before we get out of here? Because
oh, here we go. Vince McMahon tweeted out a statement about the documentary that he tried and failed to buy. You've seen this? So he says in there, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. So we've already talked about the documentary ends with him doing exactly that, saying he doesn't know the difference. So that's stupid. I also want to point out, in an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am in fact Mr. McMahon. An affair I ended is a really strange way of saying an affair I had.
Yeah.
Why would you phrase it like that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because ended sounds more poignant, I guess. I don't know.
I ended this affair and she was upset, so she sued me. And... You had the affair. I ended it. I ended it though. Yeah, it's
Partying with
he's a
Ryan
strange man.
Diddy. Wow.
Yeah, there's a
2013.
photo of him with Diddy as well, and there's a few comments come off that as well.
Man. So do you want to add that to the thumbs here, or just...
Nah, I've got his face on there already. I don't
Okay.
know.
Alright, well
Is
that'll...
that
I'll
the
let him
first
off.
time, I might be wrong, but is that the first time he's actually publicly admitted that the affair happened?
Well, he only said that he ended it. He didn't say that it happened.
Yeah.
It must have happened to have ended.
And he didn't specifically say which one, either. He didn't
That's
say
true.
Janelle Grant
That's
or
true.
anything like that. So, that's also something to consider. Let's get out of here. I think that's it.
I've got one more thumbs up. You don't need to put it on, but I'll just quick one. Thumbs
Okay.
up for the hybrid. He's got a very good taste in shows.
The hybrid.
The
In the
hybrid.
chat, he said
Oh,
nice
yeah.
show.
Nice show. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, in the chat. Oh, okay.
the hybrid. Fan
got
of the
it.
week.
Alright. We'll be back next week.
Bad Blood next week.
Oh yeah, that's it. It's gonna be the cycle of Two Faces of Vince. That's pretty good. Sting with the
Yeah,
Sting
we're back
Mask classic.
back to traditional pay-per-view times next week.
Yeah, Bad Blood, and then the week after Bad Blood, it's Wrestle Dream. So another wave of pay-per-view in and outs, and we'll see if I can make up that deficit in the prediction game. Tune in. We'll see you next week. Have a great weekend, everybody. Stay cool out there and stay safe. We'll see you next time. Good night.